Have you ever witnessed a family unravel in front of your eyes where love, loyalty, and years of history seem to fade away piece by piece? Well, that's exactly what's happening with the Brown family. The world of sister wives has changed dramatically, and the tension is palpable. What started as a story about a polygamist family trying to make it work has turned into a shocking saga of breakups, emotional turmoil, and shifting allegiances. Kody Brown, once the patriarch of this complicated web, finds himself at the center of a storm that no one saw coming. His relationships with his wives, Christine, Janelle, Mary, and Robyn, have been torn apart, leaving us all wondering what's next for Kody and his family. Is there hope for reconciliation, or are we watching the end of an era? Hi, friends. I'm Sophia, and welcome to TLC's Sister Wives Reality. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the conversation down below. I want to hear your thoughts on all this chaos. In the early days of Sister Wives, the show set out with a bold and unique premise: to shed light on a polygamous family. Kody Brown, with his 4 wives, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn, was presented as the patriarch of a seemingly harmonious family living the polygamous lifestyle. The show's central theme revolved around this unconventional family dynamic, showcasing the ins and outs of managing multiple wives, their children, and the complexity of balancing multiple relationships under one roof. It was an eye-opening experience for many viewers, giving a rare glimpse into a lifestyle most had only heard of in passing. However, over time, the focus of Sister Wives began to shift. The perfect image of a polygamous family slowly cracked, revealing the emotional complexities, struggles, and conflicts that were hidden beneath the surface. It wasn't long before the show moved away from the romanticized portrayal of polygamy and became a raw, real look at the dissolution of relationships. What was once a celebration of plural marriage became a stage for the breakdown of marriages and the unraveling of Kody's relationships with his wives. Take Kody's relationship with Christine, for example. The woman who had once been so committed to the polygamous lifestyle and who seemed to find joy in her role as one of Kody's wives eventually became disillusioned with the arrangement. Over the years, her frustration with Kody's behavior, his lack of emotional availability, his dismissiveness, and his favoritism toward Robyn became increasingly apparent. Her decision to leave Kody after more than 2 decades of marriage marked a pivotal moment in the show's evolution. What began as a look at polygamy was now an exploration of one woman's journey to reclaim her independence and happiness. Similarly, Janelle's relationship with Kody began to deteriorate long before her eventual departure. She was always seen as the more independent and logical wife, but even her patience had limits. It became clear that the dynamics between her and Kody had shifted, with Janelle feeling neglected and emotionally distant from him. Mary's situation was perhaps the most tragic. Despite enduring a public catfishing scandal and years of emotional neglect, she stayed in the marriage, holding on to the hope that things would get better. Yet her connection with Kody had all but vanished, and their relationship seemed to be an afterthought for him. Now, with Kody's remaining relationship with Robyn as the sole focus of the show, it's evident that the idea of polygamy has taken a backseat to the very real struggles of each wife. The central concept that once defined the series has slowly been overshadowed by personal drama, emotional fallout, and the evolution of these individuals. Sister Wives has become less about polygamy and more about the human condition, about the complicated, often painful realities of love, relationships, and the search for personal fulfillment. The shift was inevitable, as real life always has a way of steering the narrative in unexpected directions. As the years have gone on, a lot of whispers have begun circulating in the Sister Wives fandom about the possibility of a spin-off centered solely around Kody and Robyn. While the show originally spotlighted Kody's plural marriage, the narrative has shifted so much over time that now it feels as though the focus has squarely moved to Kody and his relationship with his last remaining wife, Robyn. The idea of a spin-off focusing just on them has become one of the hottest topics of conversation. The idea of this new spin-off has stirred mixed reactions among the Sister Wives fan base. For some viewers, the possibility of following Kody and Robyn's journey has a certain appeal. With the dynamics of polygamy unraveling and Kody's relationships with his ex-wives disintegrating, Many fans are curious about how the couple's future will unfold. Will they remain together? Will Kody try to expand his family, again, by seeking out a new wife? For some, the drama around Kody's relationship with Robyn could provide the same kind of drama that initially captivated audiences when the show first aired. On the flip side, there are many fans who are skeptical about the idea. Some feel that the lack of the plural marriage element would strip the show of the unique dynamic that made Sister Wives so captivating in the first place. If the show is no longer about the intricacies of managing multiple relationships, what exactly is left? The skepticism also stems from the notion that viewers might not be as interested in a monogamous relationship drama between Kody and Robyn. After all, Sister Wives was built on the idea of Kody trying to maintain a relationship with multiple wives, and with that foundation gone, would the audience remain as invested? However, there's also speculation that Kody could decide to take on a new wife, which would likely bring the show or any spinoff back into familiar territory. If Kody sought out a new partner, the possibility of rekindling the drama surrounding plural marriage would surely reignite interest. Fans could once again see the emotional complexity that came with juggling multiple wives and the inevitable conflicts that arose from it. This potential twist could breathe new life into a show that many believe has lost its initial spark. But could a Kody and Robyn spinoff be as successful as the original show? That remains up in the air. While their relationship has its share of tension, there's an argument to be made that the public's interest in their monogamous journey isn't as compelling as the original concept of a plural marriage. And yet Kody and Robyn have found a way to stay at the forefront of the Sister Wives narrative, so maybe there's enough intrigue surrounding them to pull in viewers. What's really happening here is a shift in how the show and potentially the spinoff would need to evolve. People's attention is now drawn to the dynamics between Kody and Robyn, and many are left wondering what the future holds. Will they live happily ever after, or will Kody continue to crave more relationships, reawakening the intrigue of polygamy? Only time will tell, but if a spinoff happens, the drama is bound to continue. When we first met Kody Brown on Sister Wives, he appeared as the charming and charismatic patriarch of a family that had chosen to live their lives under the banner of polygamy. To many viewers, Kody was an intriguing figure, one who seemed to have it all figured out, juggling multiple marriages, parenting a large number of children, and leading a family that seemed to have a strong, unified sense of identity. But over the years, that image has come crashing down. Kody's transformation from the confident, idealistic polygamist to a man at the center of a whirlwind of personal conflicts, emotional struggles, and controversy has been nothing short of dramatic. At the heart of Kody's struggles lies his increasing tension with each of his wives. In the beginning, Kody seemed to manage the delicate balancing act of his relationships with Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn. But as the show progressed, cracks started to show in his relationships, especially with the women who had once been the cornerstones of his plural family. With Meri, the breakdown was long, drawn out, and painfully public, especially when the infamous catfishing scandal came to light. That situation devastated their relationship, leaving Meri emotionally wounded and Kody distant and cold. But it's with Christine where the most noticeable and, frankly, painful shifts occurred. Their relationship, which had seemed strong and founded on mutual respect, began to deteriorate. Christine, who had been with Kody for over 25 years, eventually made the bold decision to leave him, and the way Kody handled that situation sparked an intense backlash from fans and critics alike. His treatment of Christine in the aftermath was nothing short of harsh. Many fans were stunned by how cold and dismissive he became toward her, even as she expressed her pain and frustration. Kody's apparent lack of empathy for her decision to leave was shocking, considering the years they had spent together. There was a clear shift in Kody's emotional state. The man who once spoke fondly of his wives and children now seemed consumed by frustration and anger. His need for control, whether it was controlling the family dynamic or controlling how his wives thought and acted, became more pronounced. With his family fracturing, Kody became visibly upset and increasingly defensive, especially when it came to his role as the leader of the family. He made it clear that he didn't take kindly to anyone stepping out of line, especially when his authority as the patriarch was challenged. His behavior toward his ex-wives, particularly Christine, was often passive-aggressive, and it became evident that Kody didn't want to be seen as the one who had failed. Instead, he seemed to push the blame onto his wives for their own personal decisions and emotions. It was almost as though, in his eyes, their breakdown was an affront to his carefully constructed family narrative. Now, the question remains, was Kody's desire to return to polygamy a reflection of his genuine beliefs, or was it about control? As the show moved forward, Kody's attitude towards plural marriage seemed to shift from an idealistic view of building a large, loving family to a much more self-serving and controlling desire to manage multiple relationships. His frustrations, particularly with Christine's departure, hinted that his drive for polygamy wasn't about love or family cohesion, but rather about the control and power he felt he needed to have over his wives. The more they distanced themselves from him, the more he seemed to cling to the notion of a plural marriage as a way to restore his sense of authority. Many viewers began to question whether Kody's commitment to polygamy was ever truly about the beliefs he once claimed, or if it was always a way for him to remain in control of his family. Was it truly about religious or spiritual beliefs, or was it about him not wanting to lose the control he had over his family and his image as a patriarch? The more we saw of Kody, the more it became apparent that his desire for polygamy was likely more rooted in the need to dominate the family dynamic than in any genuine conviction about the institution itself. In recent years, Kody's public image has taken a hit, and it's not just from fans. The harsh treatment of his wives, the refusal to take accountability for his actions, and the seeming lack of self-awareness have all contributed to the shift in how the public views him. His actions have divided the audience, while some still view him as a misunderstood patriarch trying to navigate difficult personal struggles. Many see him as manipulative, controlling, and emotionally distant. His harsh treatment of Christine in particular left a sour taste in the mouths of many viewers who once rooted for him. People who once saw Kody as a leader of a family are now questioning whether he is simply a man who refuses to acknowledge his mistakes and embrace any kind of emotional growth. In the end, Kody's emotional struggles are not just a matter of navigating a complex family dynamic. They have become the defining feature of his public persona. The controlling behaviors, the anger, and the refusal to take responsibility have overshadowed the original narrative of polygamy that Sister Wives set out to explore. Kody's journey is no longer just about balancing multiple wives and trying to create a happy family. It's about his inability to adapt to a changing family structure and his desperate need to control and hold on to the past. And in the process, he has alienated much of his audience who now see him as a flawed figure, struggling with his own contradictions and frustrations. Christine Brown's journey on Sister Wives has undoubtedly been one of the most emotionally charged and inspiring arcs in the series. After more than 26 years of marriage to Kody, Christine's decision to leave him was nothing short of brave. It wasn't just about walking away from a man. It was about reclaiming her life, her happiness, and her sense of self-worth. For viewers, it was a moment of raw vulnerability and ultimate triumph as Christine took control of her own destiny. When Christine left Kody, it felt like the end of an era, not just for her, but for the entire Brown family. For years, she had been the loving, loyal wife who supported Kody through his various endeavors, always putting the family's needs first. But behind that unwavering loyalty, there was a woman who had been quietly suffering. Christine had long struggled with her role in the family, especially as her relationship with Kody grew more distant and strained. As Kody's focus shifted more toward his monogamous relationship with Robyn, Christine began to feel more and more like an outsider in her own home. It was clear that Kody's feelings for her had waned, and that realization hit Christine hard. She wasn't just dealing with the failing marriage, she was grappling with the question of her own worth. Was she enough? Was she deserving of love and respect? Or had she been cast aside in favor of other relationships? The decision to leave Kody was not an easy one for Christine. For so long, she had been part of a plural marriage, a lifestyle that had defined her entire identity. It wasn't just the end of a marriage, it was a complete shift in how she had lived her life for over 2 decades. But as painful as the decision was, Christine began to realize that it was the only way she could truly reclaim her happiness. She was no longer willing to live in a marriage where she felt unappreciated and unloved. It was time for her to put herself first, and that's exactly what she did. In the months following her separation from Kody, she began to focus on herself, her health, her happiness, and her independence. She embraced the idea of living for herself, something that had been foreign to her for so long. And in doing so, she found a sense of peace that she had never experienced in her marriage to Kody. Perhaps the most significant part of Christine's new journey was her decision to enter a monogamous relationship with David Woolley. This new chapter in her life marked not just a shift in her romantic life, but also a shift in her personal growth. In David, Christine found someone who treated her with the love and respect she had always craved. Unlike her relationship with Kody, where she often felt like she was competing for attention and affection, David made Christine feel seen and valued. For the first time in years, she was truly happy in a relationship, and it was clear that her decision to prioritize herself had been the catalyst for this new chapter. Christine's story is one of personal growth and self-discovery. Her journey is about finding her voice and, perhaps most importantly, learning that her worth was never tied to her role in a polygamous family. It was about shedding the weight of a marriage that no longer served her and stepping into a new life filled with possibilities. Her decision to embrace a monogamous relationship with David after decades in a plural marriage was a bold statement of her newfound independence and strength. Her journey has resonated with many viewers, especially those who have felt trapped in relationships or situations that no longer serve them. Christine became a symbol of empowerment, showing that it is possible to rebuild your life and find happiness after experiencing deep emotional turmoil. In contrast to Kody's continued struggles with his emotional baggage, Christine's happiness stands out as a reminder that change can be positive even when it feels impossible. Christine's departure from Kody also highlighted the stark contrast between her life and that of her ex-sister wives. While Kody continued to struggle with his emotions and control issues, Christine was embracing freedom, finding a new relationship that was built on mutual respect, and focusing on her personal well-being. Janelle, though still a part of Kody's life, has her own journey to navigate, while Mary's relationship with Kody remained one of emotional distance and disillusionment. Christine's decision to move on was a bold move, one that empowered not only her, but also viewers who were watching her struggle, grow, and ultimately thrive. Christine's personal growth was a testament to the power of self-worth and the importance of living life on one's own terms. It wasn't just about leaving Kody. It was about finding herself outside of the confines of the polygamous structure that had once defined her existence. By embracing her independence, Christine showed us all that there is strength in vulnerability and that it's never too late to choose happiness. The financial struggles and property disputes surrounding the Brown family's land at Coyote Pass have only intensified the already complex tensions within the family. The property, which was initially bought with the idea of building homes for each of Kody's wives and their families, has now become a symbol of the fractured nature of the Brown family. What was meant to be a unifying investment has instead become a source of division, both financially and emotionally. At the heart of these disputes are the unresolved tensions between Kody and his ex-wives, particularly Mary and Janelle. The promise of Coyote Pass, a place where each wife would have her own home, has turned into an ongoing battle over ownership, financial investment, and future plans. For Mary and Janelle, both of whom have left Kody in different ways, their continued involvement with the property is a painful reminder of their relationships with him that have deteriorated. The financial aspect of the property dispute is crucial. The family had invested a significant amount of money into Coyote Pass, but as relationships fell apart, so did the plans for the land. Kody's decision to continue pushing for his monogamous relationship with Robyn while neglecting the needs and desires of his other wives created an emotional and financial burden on them. The tension surrounding property division is only made worse by the fact that Kody seemed unwilling to prioritize fairness or compromise in how the land should be managed or divided. For Janelle, the property became a point of deep frustration. While she had once believed in the vision of living together on Coyote Pass, her relationship with Kody had soured to the point where she was no longer strained for years. But the Coyote Pass saga served as a stark reminder of how little she had been valued. The ownership issues, combined with the emotional fallout, left Meri in a position where she was forced to consider her own future and independence. These financial disputes and property tensions have only deepened the divide between the Brown family members. What started as an investment in shared dreams has now become a daily reminder of their fractured relationships and individual journeys. Kody, Robyn, Janelle, Meri, and Christine each seek financial and emotional stability, but the weight of Coyote Pass continues to linger as a painful reminder of how far they've fallen apart. The family's future, both in terms of property and personal connections, remains uncertain as they struggle to reconcile their past with their present. As we watch the Brown family go through what feels like a never-ending series of emotional roller coasters, it's no surprise that the fan base of Sister Wives is divided. For years, the show was built on the fascinating dynamics of polygamy. Viewers tuned in not just to watch the Brown family navigate their unique way of life, but to understand the complexities of Kody's relationships with his multiple wives. However, as the seasons have progressed, the foundational concept of polygamy seems to have shifted from the central narrative to something far more personal struggles, breakups, and the fallout from years of emotional turmoil. So, what's the future of Sister Wives? Well, based on fan reactions, there's a noticeable split between excitement and skepticism. Some fans are still holding out hope that the show will find its footing again, but the idea of seeing the Brown family try to rebuild their relationships feels increasingly improbable. Others are curious about the new dynamics between Kody and Robyn and whether their relationship will evolve into something that could reignite the excitement the show once had. Some even speculate about the potential for a new wife joining the mix and whether that would offer the drama that's been lacking. On the flip side, there are those who feel the show has lost its way. Without the foundation of polygamy, the show's premise feels shaky. For viewers who once tuned in to see how a plural family could work in the modern world, watching the breakdown of that structure feels like watching the last remnants of a story they invested in unravel. They want to see more about how plural marriage operates, not just the drama that comes with failed relationships. Some viewers have expressed frustration, calling for a return to the original concept of plural marriage, or at least a more balanced portrayal of it, instead of a focus on divorce, personal conflicts, and heartache. And of course, we have to talk about the uncertain future of Sister Wives. But without its signature theme of polygamy, is there really enough substance to keep it going? There's only so much you can watch of a family falling apart before it starts to feel like you're just watching the same drama unfold over and over